What's that in the thing there? Is those just balls in the... She got a thing of
The
balls.
centerpiece over
Yep,
there?
the centerpice of the
You
table.
know, I've never really thought
Just
much about
a
it.
thing of balls. Look like onions.
Do you like scary movies?
You're still afraid.
There is a limit to how much I can take.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Fear Podcast.
Hey, I'm Kordell.
Hi, I'm Justin. And today, we have no guest with us. Just the originals.
But you might have noticed we're in a different place.
Yeah, see, I was trying to decide how to address this, because at the time that this is released, we will have had several episodes in this location with this new setup already.
Oh, yeah.
So we should talk about it again when we do the next episode, but a little behind the scenes, so our listeners and viewers know, well, I guess mostly our viewers, this is the first episode we're recording in this new room.
Our listeners might also notice we sound very distinct now, also.
Yes, our voices are much richer and deeper. Well, I guess not deeper unless, we just start doing voices.
My voice is a lot deeper now.
This is how microphones work now. They make you sound sexier. But we have a new microphone set up with our arms and our two microphones instead of sharing a microphone, which we have tried before, but more confident in the setup now.
Welcome to the sexy reveal part. Fuck it.
It's sexy, but we can't speak anymore.
It's exactly how you like your men. Sexy, but can't say much.
But don't talk. That's how I like my men.
We're going free.
Yeah, exactly.
Himbos exclusively.
But yeah, so this is still my house. We usually shoot in the living room on the red couch. We're trying something new. This is my office. You see we have a bunch of memorabilia. We have horror memorabilia. This gives you a little more insight into my obsessions.
Yeah.
And my horror authority.
Makes him credible.
Yes, exactly. When you see a Scream poster and some toys in the background, you know this person means business, right?
You're in for a good time.
So, today we're gonna watch Scream.
I'm okay with that.
The original. Have you seen the original Scream?
I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't think that I have.
Okay, so what was it? A few months ago, we went and saw Scream 5 in theaters.
Yes.
And you had not known for sure whether you'd seen any of the others.
Yes.
But instead, what did you do?
I watched a 15-minute recap video over all of the Screams and what happened, kind of, sort of. So, I know there's a bunch of them. I know there's always two. I know that it's somebody's obscure somebody related to somebody. Oh, this is my long-lost cousin, or this is my boyfriend's girlfriend, or whatever happens. And that's how Scream gets you. And it's pretty meta, and that's all I know to be true about Scream.
All right, well,
I think I got it exactly.
I think that's pretty much exactly it. I'm not so sure. You think maybe you left some stuff out.
Nah, I think I...
No, you said nah.
I think I covered it.
Oh my God, Scream. If I haven't made it clear on this podcast in the past, is my all-time favorite movie. The franchise is my all-time favorite franchise. So after we watch this movie, I won't make you watch all of them on the podcast, but you do need to watch all of the Scream movies. I think they're very necessary for your horror education.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they're very necessary.
I think that I will watch the first one, and I've watched the last one, and I think I pretty much got it. You ever read to the back of a book, after reading the first couple chapters?
No, that's not how you read a book.
That's
not allowed.
I think that's exactly what I'm doing, and I think I'm getting it all. I think I'm understanding the rich history behind everything by just the first one and the last one.
The problem with that is you're missing Scream 4, and to me, that's just the best sequel. It's right under Scream. My ranking goes Scream, Scream 4, Scream 5, then 2, then 3. And it's just really important.
Is that in chronological order or
That's no. Or timeline wise?
Yeah.
No, that's just the ranking of my personal preference.
Okay. That's how you love
the chronological order they go in is Scream, Scream 2, Scream 3, Scream 4, Scream. Because for some reason, Scream 5 is called Scream.
Yeah.
Following the trends of the horror franchises these days, because Halloween 2018 also did that. It was just called Halloween, even though it was a sequel to Halloween, the original, and not a remake, because remakes make sense that they would be called the same title as the
original, yeah.
But for some reason, production companies have now been doing it for sequels.
They do
legacy sequels as well.
They do it with games. It happened to God of War. Mm-hmm.
God of War. Okay,
Yeah,
so
there was a God of War 1, and then 2, 3, and then a bunch of other games, and then another God of War, like 2018 also.
Okay, so would that new God of War be in the canon of the timeline of the original franchise?
Yes. It is the furthest thing in the future, but it also is just God of War.
See, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why not just put Scream 5, you know?
I mean, it would have
just
been
called Scream-
God of
Scream
War 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
That's what they could have called it.
sort of, technically, but
They could have called it that, or God of War and then a subtitle.
yeah.
Would have made more sense to me.
No, it's just straight God of War, and it's same dude, same character, except just a whole other place.
Candyman also did that recently. They I think are going through the timeline where it's just Candyman, and then Candyman 2021, I think, came out last year, 2021. But it's actually the second one in that timeline, I believe.
Didn't like Dune do it? Also, it's just Dune. Is it a?
I see. I didn't
Or is
know
it a
that Dune
remake?
until recently that it was there was a movie called Dune before that. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I'm not a big Dune guy, I guess.
So I don't really know. Do you know if it's a sequel or a
I don't
remake?
know. I don't know if it's a sequel. I know Blade Runners was a remake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it was called Blade Runner, right?
Yeah.
And so that makes sense. Remakes make sense when they're called the same thing. For some reason, like the way that production companies claim the reasoning is to get new viewers to go watch it. But why would you want a new viewer to go watch it without having watched the first ones? Because it's going to make more sense if you watch the whole franchise.
Because money.
I know, but it's just not fair.
No.
It's not fair to the viewers
It's-
who think that it's a new movie and then realize, oh, I have to know 25 years worth of backstory to really fully experience this movie.
They do it with every fucking Batman, just about. Also, it's just Batman, and then Batman again, and then another Batman. But there's no like 1, 2, or 3. I don't think.
No, but like Batman, I feel like most of those are remakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you would call them technically, but like the Batman
Yeah.
doesn't have anything to do with the Batmans
other-
that came before it, right? It's like a new start.
The Batman.
So that makes sense to me. And by the way, the Batman, great movie.
I still haven't seen it.
You're a Superman fan, but not a Batman
I've
fan,
seen all
I
the
guess.
Superman. No, I fucking love Batman.
Just not enough to go to the movies. Oh, you were supposed to go with us that day.
I was
What were you
supposed to
doing?
go. My tire blew out or something like that. Like something happened,
Oh.
and I couldn't go. I don't remember what it
Seems
was
like
exactly.
that. It's happened to you a couple times.
It does.
What's
It
wrong with
happens
your
to me,
tires?
dude. I don't know.
It has something to do with your car, I think.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have it, and Gabe was like, I can come get you, but we were like downtown,
Yeah.
and you live away in West
Yeah.
Knoxville.
Yeah. I hate having people come pick me up. I just don't like it.
Why?
I like to have my own car. I like to
Oh,
have my own car. I
wow.
just always have.
You just hate asking for help.
I also hate
You
asking
hate
for help.
being vulnerable and needing something.
I actually don't mind as much as I used to, but
That's good.
it's still like it's just inconvenient. Like for like little things, like it was like, oh, we're just going to the movies. Like, okay, like if I need help,
Yeah.
sure. Like I can ask for help. That's
Right,
fine.
yeah,
like
yeah.
I had like you came with me to go buy that car at one time because like I needed someone to take me go.
Right, because you
and get
needed a car.
Yeah, because like I needed that. Like that was no problem. But
Right.
like, oh, we're gonna go have fun. It's like, well, if I don't have my shit together, I shouldn't be going having fun. Like I
Shouldn't be going and having, well, you don't deserve to have
like
fun.
it's like I don't know. Like it's a little maybe I don't know.
No.
Like it's not that. It's just like I'm not gonna
Make someone go out of their
way just so I can have fun.
Yeah, I feel like that too. I guess when I've had to like ask for things and stuff like that. But I like helping people, so I
Yeah.
don't mind it at all. And I think that most people are friends anyway.
No, yeah,
I like that.
absolutely. Yeah, no, they do, and like y'all are always down to help. I just like I don't know. I was like it's not a huge deal if I miss a movie.
Right.
Like it's not like I need a ride to a wedding. Like that's
I need a ride.
different.
You know, you can miss a wedding too, as long as it's not your wedding.
Well, yeah, but like I don't know. It's just like it's a bit more. It's more of a moment. Like, oh, you didn't show up to my wedding. Like that's kind of
Right.
as opposed
Yes.
to oh, you missed Batman, the thing that's gonna play multiple times over the month. You get in there when you can. Like
Right.
it didn't seem like that big of a deal. Also, if I just to inconvenience somebody, but like now if I need help, I'll ask for it. But that didn't used to be the case even. So
Really?
yeah, so it used to be worse than that.
You'll just bear through it before.
Yeah, I would just like. I think there was one time like I really did need some help with a car or something like that. Like my car in college like broke down or whatever, and I was just like, I'm just gonna walk to the store. Like
Oh my God.
I just walked like 2 miles to Walmart, which is not crazy, but like carrying all the stuff was kind of heavy.
You're carrying all the stuff. Yeah. Well, then you should have stolen a shopping cart.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't do that anymore though.
That's good. It's progress. It's great stuff.
It's progress. It's what Batman and or Superman would do.
Right. But Batman never asks for help. Well, that's not true. He has Robin.
He helps people. He gets help all the
helps people all the
time.
I just didn't know that people would help him as often.
He gets help all the time.
Okay.
It's
From, like the commissioner, and you got Robin.
Yeah.
Just
the
general
entire
help lead.
Bat family.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. I didn't even think about them.
There are at least 4 Robins.
What do you think is the superhero that asks for help the least? Superman? He never needs
Probably he doesn't need it, but he just likes to ride along. He's like, yeah, you can come hang out. Like,
Yeah, he's like, why not? I'll be part of the Justice
He's like,
League.
yeah,
I mean, I
okay.
can do it by myself, but you might as well be there.
yeah, might as well. Yeah, why not? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think Wonder Woman's really had any sidekicks that I know of.
No, she doesn't.
There's like a dude sidekick she had for a minute, but he wasn't even really a sidekick because he didn't do anything. He just hangs out with her. Like, so
I didn't know who that was. The only thing I know about Wonder Woman is I used to watch the old TV show, the Linda Carter
yeah.
old TV show with my mom, but I never read any comics. And the movie was good.
I haven't read a bunch of comics. I need to do better with it.
Really, I thought you were really into comics.
I am really into comics, but it's more like Marvel stuff, and I don't know. I do really like comics.
I want to get into. I don't like the
gotten more.
format of comics, but I love the stories. So I love reading about them on the internet instead of actually reading the comics themselves. And I love the movies.
How many actual comics have you tried to read?
Well, I mean, I've tried to read some Spider-Man, and I've tried to read The Walking Dead, and I wasn't into that.
I got some for you. I'm gonna give you some.
Some comics? What are they going to be?
I have
And
one.
what makes you think it's going to make a difference?
I have one that's really good. I like it anyways.
it
So
superhero?
I have a bunch of Deadpool comics that you can borrow.
I would love...
Those
I've
are
tried
fun.
to read Deadpool too. Not extensively, just like in the store.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking at comics.
Yeah, I got a couple.
Because they look fun.
Well, I have
Especially
a few.
some Spidey Pool stuff. Spider-Man, Deadpool.
I think one of the stories has something about that in there. I can't remember. There's one that I like a lot. It's a DC one. It's called Blackest Night. And Blackest Night is when like the lantern of like death like takes Batman's so Batman dies, and
The Lantern of Death.
yeah, there's a black lantern, and that one's like the lantern of death.
Oh.
And yeah, so like you get the whole
And
spectrum.
that's related to Green Lantern?
Yes, Green Lantern is willpower, and like Red Lantern is like rage, orange is greed,
okay.
yellow is fear, and then I get the other ones confused a bit. There's hope, which is blue. There's love, which is like pink, and then there's one more. It's the violet one. I cannot remember what they do. Yeah, no, I like comic books. They're great. I think they're awesome. I love
Okay.
the characters, all the stories. But that's a different podcast.
That is... we've delved into the Comic Men podcast now. Scream.
Yeah.
I guess we could talk about why we're watching Scream. We are planning on... Well, first of all, Scream is very popular these days with the fifth movie coming out just this year. The 6th movie being announced to be released on March 31st of next year.
Oh.
Which is very exciting. It goes into production this summer in Canada. Very exciting stuff.
How are we not on that project already?
I have been trying. So, like, I told you that I contacted the editor of Scream, Scream 5, on LinkedIn because I'm just obsessed and I am an editor and want to edit Scream movies. So, like, she has my dream job.
Yeah.
So I just, like, connected with her on LinkedIn, and she doesn't actually have that many connections because, like, people don't, like, directors get famous, you know? The stars are obviously famous. No one cares about the editors. The general public, I care about the editors. The general public does not care about who the editors are. Yeah, so they're not as popular, they're not as famous, and so she doesn't have that many LinkedIn connections, and I would just, like, send her a connection request, and she accepted for some reason. People just do that to random people.
Yeah.
Especially, well, if they work in your industry, like, she could see that I'm an assistant editor. And so I
Maybe
messaged
she
her.
needs an assistant.
She does need. See, I read an article where she had been interviewed first. Michelle Aller is her name.
Shout out Michelle.
And shout out to Michelle. Thank you for talking with me. But she was she was talking about her assistant editors in that article, and that's what made me think, I'm an assistant editor. She hires assistant editors. Maybe we should talk some, you know? So, because she was talking about Avid, so she cuts on Avid too, which is what I work in primarily. And I was just like, hey, I'm an AE. I work in television, but I was wondering if I could pick your brain about the industry a little bit. And she was like, sure, ask me questions. So I just sent her a bunch of questions, you know, like in order. And I was just like, asked her how she got into horror films. She said that she actually knew the director of Paranormal Activity, one of the Paranormal Activity movies. I can't remember which one it was.
Oh, you don't like those?
We didn't tell her that.
Hey, Michelle.
No, she does. No shout out to Michelle. You can't watch this now.
Yeah, guess what?
Okay, so I'm not a fan. Okay. I'm not a fan of Paranormal Activity movies. However, I'm a huge fan of Blumhouse. Blumhouse made the Paranormal Activity movies, and that's like how they got started. But they've done so much more of that since then. So like, that's my dream company to work for one day would be Blumhouse or Blumhouse Television. And she knows people there, and which Scream was not made by Blumhouse, but anyway, that's how she got into horror movies. She's like, once she cut a couple paranormal or one of the Paranormal Activity movies, she ended up just being like kind of like typecast into horror. So she's not even a huge like horror fan. She just happened to know someone, and now people hire her to edit horror. She also edited I'm remembering this off the dome, so I might be saying incorrect things, but I'm pretty sure she edited Annabelle Creation, which was directed by David S. Sandberg, who is someone else I've always dreamed of working with. So I'm just thinking, she has my dream job, my dream career. So I was like, if I could just get close to her, you know, she's got AEs. And I told her, I asked her some questions or whatever, and I ended up saying if you ever need an AE, because she has her
team or whatever
that goes with her to every production, but they might get promoted, they might move, they might not go with her. One of them, you know? So I'm like, I'm an AE. If you ever need someone, I could join the union and
if one of those AEs mysteriously disappear.
Yeah,
Justin's ready.
Then
He's
I'm
here.
And prepared to step in if needed. So that was really cool. Why was I talking about editing Scream 5?
Because we're talking about Scream and
why
we're gonna.
Yeah. Why we're watching Scream, but then after that, I came to be aware of Streetcar Entertainment, your company that you work at, is making a documentary, or there's documentaries in production there about Scream and the Gainesville Ripper connection.
Right. Yes.
So tell us about that.
Well, it's still in the field right now, so it hasn't come across my plate yet as a post producer.
Okay.
But so I haven't been paying attention.
Gotcha. I mean, I know just like what has been told to me about it is that it's a documentary. Scream was loosely inspired by the Gainesville Ripper murders.
Very loosely, from what I understand.
Very
However,
loosely.
for theatrical purposes, it's pretty inspired.
It's pretty inspired. That's what the documentary is trying to create connections in between those.
Right.
And
we're trying to read between the lines.
Right. And there has been several, at least 2 that I've seen, documentaries, Scream the True Story, that have done that already.
I've seen a few articles claim it also. Like just in research, like if layman's just research, just like the general public just looking into things, like they're going to make that same connection because I've seen several articles do that.
Right.
But
and that's because Kevin Williamson, the writer of Scream, told a story. He's told the story several times now about how he was inspired to write Scream because he was house sitting one night and he was watching the news, and it was in the 90s, so it had just happened. The Danny Rolling murders in Gainesville, Florida was a news story on television, and it got him afraid. He started getting a little spooked. You know, he was home alone at night, and he called his friend and to like try to get his friend to like calm him down, you know, like make him think about something else.
Right.
But his friends started trying to scare him instead, and they started talking about horror movies, and that gave him the idea of what if, you know, someone's on the phone talking about horror movies and there's a killer outside like lurking, just like Danny Rolling was.
Right.
And then he sat down and wrote like a 13-page outline that became Scream. It was then called Scary Movie, was the original working title. That's the extent of the connection.
Which, I mean, you know,
Yeah.
kinda like
Exactly. Kinda. So that's what it's like. It's like he doesn't take any of the murders and make them like Danny Rolling.
Right.
The killer isn't supposed to be like him in any way because Danny Rolling was he was killing co-eds in college who he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
He was just breaking into random people's houses. From what I understand, that's not the case in Scream. I guess it's a little bit of a spoiler, but you've already watched recaps of all of them.
Yeah.
The killer, you know the killer. It's in your friend circle.
right,
You know?
right.
And like I pointed out to Jim in our interview, Danny Rolling murders are actually way more brutal than the
Yes.
Ghostface murders
Yeah.
are at all.
And I've seen bits and bobs of like what's come in from the field and like some, you know, crime scene things and some stuff like that. Although from what I understand also, which we have a couple true crime documentaries coming down the pipes, but like all of his like crime, like all the police investigation has been wiped. Like it's just like he was killed and then they just got rid of everything. So
Yeah.
like a lot of the records we don't have, but our archives person's been doing pretty good at going through and finding a few things. I was in like the last writers meeting or whatever.
That's
so like
kind of mysterious.
yeah, it
It adds a
is.
mysterious level to the documentary making process.
Yeah, all of the records have been destroyed
Wow.
that the cops have.
That's fun.
Yeah, well,
I like that. You just have to lean more into the Scream side of things.
it sounds fun, unless you're trying to make a job out
Unless
of that.
you're trying to, yeah, except that we need archives and we
Except
don't
that we,
have any.
need that.
Except that it's my job to find archives.
Them affidavits would have been real nice, but
Oh
they
my gosh.
didn't want them. So,
That's so funny.
in
Okay.
case any police officers are watching and/or listening, keep your affidavits for documentaries. You might be in one.
Wow.
So,
Yeah. So, anyway, I was approached to be interviewed for
yes,
this documentary.
we handpicked you. We were like, oh man, we need people to talk about this documentary, and both Hannah and I were like, oh, Justin will do it. Justin do it. Just don't, no, shh. Justin will do it. Justin will do it.
Right. Hannah, I was at work and Hannah texted me and she said, hey, we're making a documentary about Scream and they want to interview you for it. And I said, bullshit. I literally texted her back. I said, bullshit.
I think I texted you after that and was like, no, it's for real.
Yeah, she said, no, I'm 100% serious. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't mess with you like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I still think you're fucking with me, but I'm 100% in. And then she was like, no, seriously, Maggie, Vic, and Robert all say they want to interview you. And then you messaged the group and you were like, Justin, do our Scream interview.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Why is this happening? That was before I knew that it was about Danny Rolling as well as Scream, which makes more sense in my head now because there was no way you guys were just making a documentary about Scream. Yeah. I wasn't buying that. But then you guys actually wanted to interview me for it, and I went to an interview and I did the interview. So hopefully, as long as I said some helpful things,
You did. I'm pretty sure that you did. At least in the field notes that I read, you did.
I was like, okay.
You
I
did
was just
great.
saying, as long as part of it was useful, I will be in it and will not be cut. If
You
I'm
will not be cut.
If I'm cut out of it, then
Now-
we'll cut this part out of the podcast. Because
Yeah, we'll just get rid of this. Didn't
this
happen.
episode will not exist
Yeah.
because that's the whole point of doing it. Was that we thought it would be cool if our Scream episode, which we had not done yet, coincided with the release of this documentary.
Which is, it couldn't be much better of a like reason to pull out Scream.
To pull out Scream, my favorite
Right?
Scream.
Like-
Because I hadn't suggested it yet because it's not the scariest movie ever
Right.
made.
Right.
You know, which is what we're trying to find.
Right.
However, it's not as not scary as a lot of people think. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
People often confuse it with Scary Movie, which is the spoof franchise, because it makes... Scary Movie makes fun of the Scream franchise.
Right.
But Scream is actually not that goofy. It's
Okay.
very okay. You can give your own opinion on it here in a bit, I suppose,
Okay.
after you actually watch it. But I don't think it's that goofy. I think it's got great comedic relief, but it's got some good scares in it as well for a 90s film. And so what's it? They're the documentary though. They're calling it Lights, Camera, Action, Scream now.
Something like that. I think it's still a working title.
Yeah, I
like
hope
the
so.
network has to get their hands on it first, and then
Right.
they can. We'll see what they say. They
Right.
always change their
Okay,
mind.
cool. So at the time you are listening or watching to this, you can now watch this documentary on Tubi
Yes, for free.
for free on Tubi. So check it
Yes.
out, and you will see me. Because if you can't see me, then I won't be saying this to you. I will have edited this part out.
Yeah.
So you can watch me in a documentary, probably called Lights, Camera, Action, Scream. Maybe not.
It's a working title. We'll see what happens.
But I will include the the details on that in the description on YouTube.
Yeah, whenever
So
we release this.
Whenever we release it, you can check it out. So, without further ado,
Yeah,
Scream?
let's. Well, hang on. There's one
Sure.
more further ado. Book drink.
Oh hell yeah! I forgot about the book drink.
I've been needing the book drink.
You should have interjected earlier and said you needed a book drink.
Little dry.
I'm sorry, Kordell.
Need the book drink.
Here, do you want a rum first? We have Bacardi in the book today.
Bacardi book drink. I was thinking the other day. I'm hopefully talking about old remember, like help me remember. Jack and Coke or Jack and Bacardi and Coke is like a drink of somebody else, somebody like super famous or like some like really cool character was like, oh yeah, Bacardi and Coke. That's my
Really?
drink. Yeah, I
I
can't.
need to know that because that's my drink, and
I know it was something.
It's in a song. It's whose song is that? I wish I knew more songs. It's like
I wish I could music better.
I wish I could tell stories better because it's definitely in a song that I've heard on the radio recently.
I can't think of it either, but I know that I was like, damn, that. I mean, it's advertised well
Here,
or whatever.
let's
Bacardi
Google
and
it.
Coke.
We'll just Google.
Yeah.
Who drinks Bacardi and Coke?
Who likes Bacardi and Coke? Out there, listeners, viewers, friends, and family alike, my fellow Americans. Raise your hand
Speaking
if you
of
like.
people who drink and don't drink Bacardi and Coke, I was made fun of for drinking Bacardi and Coke on the B3F podcast when we guested on that.
Shout out B3F.
Shout out to our friends at B3F because you could go listen to their podcast too if you're here. They're fun. They're some of them are kind of mean about what other people drink.
They were very nice.
Steven.
They were very nice to me.
Yes, they're very nice to Kordell. No, Joey's nice. I love Joey, and I like Steven too. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
he just likes fucking with people.
He
which is
does.
his personality, which
and-
is what he does.
And he came back quick with that. Oh, that's a bitch drink. Like it
yeah,
was
he's like,
fast.
oh, it's a bitch drink. I'm
Like,
not fucking drinking that.
It's
And the whole format of their podcast is that the guests pick what they drink.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had suggested because that's what I drink.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck that shit.
I swear,
That's a bitch
there's
drink. And then
something-
I start asking people, I'm like, who is this known as a bitch drink? Is this something that I did
don't
not know?
think
'Cause this
that
is
it
the Grayson
is.
drink. My father drank this, my father's father drank this, and this is what I grew up on, so to speak. And I was like, I didn't know this, so I started asking people, and nobody else has heard of it as far as I've heard, unless they just don't want to tell me. I'm talking really fast now.
You get excited.
I get excited about Bacardi and Coke.
So what's the Google say?
I don't. 15 celebrities reveal their favorite drinks.
Goog.
Paul DeMaxi has a song called Rum and Coke. The Andrew Sisters, Rum and Coke.
Maybe that's just what it is. Rum and Coke.
Post Malone has Coke and Rum.
Yeah. Tons of people love rum and
But
Coke.
there is a song. Let us know in the comments what it is, where it says "Sippin' Coke and Bacardi," and it's like Bacardi the brand specifically in the lyrics, and I just don't remember. I'll just type that in. Sippin'. Coke
It's just
and-
like, but rum and Coke, like Bacardi's rum. So like,
Yes, no, it's the same thing. It's just that it's a brand of.
sure,
rum,
yeah,
right?
no, it's a. But then why then? Why?
Liam Payne strip that down? Is that something?
That is definitely not what I thought. It was gonna be.
Is that a famous artist? I don't really know who that is.
I don't reckon
Sipping lightly. Okay, so Yarn. Do we know Yarn?
No, I don't. What genres are we in?
Liam Payne. This is
They sound country.
No, it's not country. What is this? Let me play a little bit of it for you. This is I don't know if the mics will pick this up, but I'm just gonna play a little bit of this song.
I hope they don't, because we'll get demonetized.
We watch movies on this podcast.
You're right. Yeah, but we can fair source some of that. We can free
Also,
source
what's
some
funny
of
is that we don't monetize our videos as of now in the first place. You've heard this.
I haven't, but I kind of like it already.
Well, they play it on the radio a lot. It's a pop song.
Maybe, yeah.
I want him to say the Bacardi line. That's what he does. Sippin' lightly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Coke and Bacardi, sipping lightly. That's
There
what
we
I
go.
was talking
Okay,
about. It's
no,
Liam Payne.
I like that.
But that's not what you were talking about. So we'll have to
think it
think of
was.
that some other day.
I'll get it. It'll come to me.
Okay.
It'll come to me at like 3 a.m. for no reason at all. I'll wake up in a cold sweat like, Justin,
This is what it is.
I remember how cool your drink is. Well,
Okay, so
let's do it.
let's watch Scream.
That is a big ass phone.
So this is what phones looked back in the 90s.
I know. I mean, I know. It's just
Just kidding. This was released the year we were born.
big ass phone.
So me and you were both almost 1 year old when this came out. It's December of 1996, December 20th.
Can we turn it up a little bit?
Sure. Here we have Drew Barrymore, the star of the movie. Wink. She is the biggest celebrity in the movie.
Yo, it's a wild time back then where you would just talk on the phone with a stranger.
Well, he called the wrong number.
Yeah, but then like to get like, do you have a boyfriend? And to have such a mild reaction, it's like, no.
But his voice is so sexy. Do you have a boyfriend?
Do you have a boyfriend?
That's pretty good. Voiced by Roger L. Jackson, who does the voice of Ghostface in all of the Scream movies.
Awesome.
He's amazing.
Shout out Roger.
Shout out to Roger. Also the voice of Mojo Jojo from the Powerpuff Girls.
Mojo Jojo. Nice. Hey, girl, your popcorn burning. What's that in the thing there? Is those just balls in the... She got a thing of
The
balls.
centerpiece over
Yep,
there?
the centerpiece of the
You
table.
know, I've never really thought
just
much about
a
it.
thing of balls. Look like onions.
Yeah, the onions are the centerpiece. That would be something.
Well, it's just such an odd centerpiece.
Just jokes, he says. I'm just kidding. We're just playing.
Yeah, okay.
We're all having fun here, right, Drew?
Scream would never work in the hood. Ever.
Why? Too many people around?
Keep
all the
their
time?
doors locked.
Oh, keep your doors
She's
locked.
over here having to run and lock door. It's in the middle of the night and you got all your doors
I
unlocked?
also think it has to do with the 90s, because now I feel like people do just generally lock their doors when they go inside.
I guess you're right.
I hope. I do. It's a reflex for me to lock the door.
Why would you lie about having a boyfriend?
Because she was talking to a sexy sounding guy on the phone.
Well,
Maybe she was going to cheat on her boyfriend.
maybe she should die then.
Maybe,
No, I'm
she,
just playing.
maybe she deserves it, you know? We don't really know her life outside of this scene.
Well, obviously, it's not a good one.
We also find out later that she dated Stu.
Not Stu.
Yeah, Stu Macher. He's a character later on.
Oh, I remember the name. From the fifth one. Told you I got it covered.
Oh, yeah. I guess they do mention him a couple times in the fifth one. Stu did make a cameo in the fifth one, though. A voice cameo. He said, "This shit is lit." He played Chrome Ghostface from Stab 8. You gotta watch all of the rest of the Screams just for the Stab franchise. They're in all the... They're not in this movie because it hasn't...
Happened yet.
Right, because the Stab movies are based on what happens in this movie.
Such an intricate fandom.
It's so great. I don't understand how it's not
More popular?
more popular than it is. It's kind of niche a little bit, I feel like.
It may be.
But it's hard for me to tell because I'm so deep in it.
Yeah. You can't even see the light
I can't
anymore.
see like I don't know if I'm alone or if I'm not special and everybody is into Scream. I don't really know.
I'm surprised you don't know the brand of knife they have.
It's a buck 120.
Everyone, it's like, oh yeah, it's the same kitchen knife also. Oh, that lampshade was in the scene of...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, Ghostface uses a buck 120. I actually learned that at the interview for the documentary.
Oh, word.
Because they were saying, do you know if it's the same knife that Danny Rowling used or Ghostface used? And I said, I used to know the brand that Ghostface used, but I can't remember. So, Dave, is that his name? Somebody looked it up.
Macaulay, yeah.
Yeah, so,
probably.
Okay, so he looked it up and he was like,
Dave's great.
he told me what knife both of them used and I just repeated it back.
Nice.
I was like, okay, so Ghostface uses the buck 120 and Danny Rowling uses a K-bar knife. They're similar knives, but the K-bar I think is even bigger.
Oh no, he stabbed her.
There she goes. Drew Barrymore, the star of the movie, killed off
Wow.
in the first 15 minutes.
Unheard of.
People were shocked, let me tell you. This is like Psycho killing Janet Leigh halfway through the movie. But even worse, because it's Drew Barrymore.
Ooh, sexy guitar in the background. Playful banter.
Playful banter.
Soft kisses. Oh, without touch. Mercy.
Mercy. Oh, but she's not ready.
But she's not ready. As the guitar strums. Who's he? He's been old my whole life.
He's been old your whole life. That is the famous Henry Winkler of Happy Days.
That's what I thought.
He's the Fonz.
He's the Fonz.
Cool.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's been old my whole life because
He has been old our whole life. Yeah. Well, this came out the year we were born, so yeah,
Right.
He was old here, and he continues to be old.
he hasn't stopped yet.
He hasn't stopped being old yet. Good for him. He's
Yeah,
still
Winkler.
alive, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
He's doing stuff.
I would have heard if Fonz died.
Yeah.
And that's
You don't
Shaggy.
like it?
I know him. I love Shaggy.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard. He's great.
He's the best. Hey, shout out Shaggy. Matthew Lillard.
That's Rose McGowan, actually. I've met Rose McGowan and Skeet Ulrich. They're the ones who signed my Scream poster back there.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to collect all of them, so I still need to meet Matthew Lillard, Shaggy. I need to meet Nev Campbell, the Sidney Prescott.
I will move heaven and earth to also meet Shaggy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want to come meet Shaggy with me? He goes to
Yes.
conventions all the time, so I just
Yes.
have to wait until, I'm just waiting until Knoxville or Atlanta has him.
100%. And it's
You gonna get him to sign a Shaggy thing?
yes, it's even better because the internet memes around Shaggy have boosted him into a pseudo godhood of
About Shaggy
Power-
specifically or Matthew Lillard?
about Shaggy specifically, and that since Matthew Lillard played Shaggy, he too has ascended to godhood.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All based off of one Scooby-Doo episode, and I bet fucking Pio would watch that. He probably knows about it.
What episode's that?
There's one episode, maybe a movie of Scooby-Doo where Shaggy goes Super Saiyan, and they call it Ultra Instinct Shaggy, which is essentially a Super Saiyan god type deal. And so Shaggy, something happens in the episode where he just gets more confident than he needs to be. He thinks it's some placebo effect kind of thing. And they took the one clip out of context to him just having a crazy power level because he beats up a bar full of dudes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's all
This is
indirect
this is one of the
stuff.
cartoons?
It's one of the cartoons. Yeah, it's an indirect thing. It's a bunch of a big biker gang is there, and they're throwing punches. He's kind of ducking under and letting them fall over each other, kind of thing. And anyways, they were oh, Shaggy's the same as Goku. And then consequentially, Matthew Lillard has also being Shaggy. There's one scene in the live action ones where he puffs
Yeah,
up
he
or
says,
something.
I'm buff.
Yeah. And they're this, he's part of it. And so Matthew Lillard as Shaggy is on the internet, just boosted. His
The internet loves Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, the internet loves him. And so his social currency went up there for last year, heavy. And so he's
That's hilarious.
definitely more of an icon.
I love
than
how he
used to be.
plays Shaggy in the live action and also the cartoons
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Ever since Casey Kasem passed away.
But and then I remember seeing one of the Reddit things. He's just so grateful of it. He just seems so nice. He's thank you guys so I didn't even know that Shaggy was gonna be that big of a deal, but thank y'all so much. He was really seemed genuine about it.
Yeah, Matthew Lillard is the best. He also really loves the Scream franchise and has been, because when he goes to conventions and does Q&As and stuff still, he wants to be in another Scream movie so badly. He keeps saying, Stu could come back. We don't know for sure that he's dead. And everyone, well, that's a spoiler, but you probably knew that.
Yeah.
Everybody's oh, no, he's dead. No, you're not coming back ever.
Give him another ghost.
But then he's fueling this huge part of the fandom that wants Stu to come back and be the killer in the new movie. And it's no, he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of no. I love Matthew Lillard, but that would be horrible for the Scream franchise to do that.
He can have a cameo or two. Why not?
I mean, sure, but not as that character. He can be the voice that he was in Scream 5.
Sure.
He's actually in Scream 2 as a background actor at a party.
Oh, that's
he
funny.
makes a little cameo there. He was dating Nev Campbell at the time,
Ooh,
who plays Sidney there.
spicy.
Yeah, they're not together anymore. It's weird to me that they ever dated, actually.
Why?
I don't know. She's out of his league.
Yo, you just got to be kind of funny. That's it. That's
I
it.
mean, but look at her. I don't know.
You'd be surprised what you can hee hee ha ha your way into, man. I'm
You're
telling you.
way into. I like that.
You'd be surprised. Wow, how orange. Where is it supposed to be?
California.
Okay, that makes sense.
Northern California, I think,
No cow.
is where it was shot. It was shot in Santa Rosa. But it's set in the fictional town of Woodsboro.
I've been to Santa Rosa before.
You have? Why?
I was on vacation. I wasn't in Santa Rosa specifically. I just kind of hanging out there.
That's really cool.
Just through.
I've always wanted to go to Santa Rosa to visit all the filming locations.
I didn't even think about it when I was there. You know what? Darn.
Because they filmed at the community center. They filmed at that cool water fountain thing that we could go sit at. We gotta go, Kordell. We gotta make another trip.
Oh man, we got to.
And the house at the end, Stu's house, which was featured heavily in
the
Scream 5.
Yeah.
Which they had recreated as a set for Scream 5. In this movie, it's an actual house in an actual location. And it's in California, and it's a little bit more north than Santa Rosa, I think. And it's used as a wedding venue. And I'm thinking, maybe if I ever get married, maybe I should get married at Stu's Mockers house.
We're there. I'm there.
It's
so
either going to be
hard
that or like
some
of the filming locations from Haunting of Hill House, which is in Atlanta.
We almost can't even do this when I say this idea.
What do you mean?
It's such a good idea. You're gonna have to cut this idea out, okay?
I'm gonna have to cut it out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Here's what should happen. You get married at that house. Dude goes, does anyone object? I bust through in a Scream costume. And I run up and try to murder, and you like stop me somehow like that.
You try to murder who?
You, I don't know anybody.
Oh, it's all staged.
It's all yeah. Because like, why not? If it's like a big moment, does anyone object? Like it's the best to be like, yes, I object, and I just run.
I object.
Yeah, and like I object, and I just run up, and you just like kick me in the head or something, like anything.
Oh yeah, that'll be great.
But that would be awesome, right?
That would be awesome.
That'd be
Let's
so
do
cool.
that. I don't think it warrants cutting out of the podcast.
Well, I want everyone else to be surprised by it.
Yeah, okay.
They're gonna be like, Justin beat up Scream, like he killed the bad guy.
Oh my god.
Anything. We could do the whole like certain friends just start getting kidnapped and like taken out, like, and your family's just they don't know what's happening.
We're in a ghost face. We're in a Scream movie.
Everyone is in like.
Oh my god! My wedding turns into a Scream movie. That would be fucking ideal,
right?
And then my wedding video is cut like a movie. Damn. Okay, so if I get married at the house, which I can't remember what it's called now, but 261 Turner Lane is what it is in the movie. That's what we're doing for sure.
Oh yes.
I've also thought about the Haunting of Hill House locations though, because they're in Atlanta and they're much closer, and I love Haunting of Hill House. Haunting of Hill House is my favorite show.
But the Scream, you can be goofy with the Scream. We don't have to be we gotta take it as seriously.
Right. Well, I guess it just depends on if I want my wedding to be serious or goofy.
That's right.
And he doesn't wash his hands, so you can tell that he was in jail.
Fuck. Did Danny Rowling never wash his hands? Is that
That's
where he
based on
got that
yeah.
from?
Notoriously didn't wash his hands.
Notoriously.
They caught him, and he still had blood, DNA all over his hands from
all
all his victims.
Riddled with it.
And he was like, "No, I didn't do anything." And they're like, "Well, that's where the saying "caught red-handed" actually came from."
Right. Danny Rowling.
Danny Rowling invented it.
Look, you say that shit, we're gonna use this shit in.
Yeah. The producers, you guys are gonna see it and be like, "Oh, that's fact. We have to put that in."
Someone's gonna do that.
Someone's gonna be fact checking it and be like, "Well, that's just not true what Justin said in
I'm
this
telling
podcast."
you,
It's like, that's because Justin was joking.
I'll miss it and it'll make its way in somehow. I'll be like, no.
Yeah, Danny Rowling invented the term "caught red-handed."
This played in Scream 5, right?
Red Right Hand.
Mm-hmm.
It did. It played during the murder of one of the first victims. The first victim who actually died. It was playing in his car, and then he stabbed him and it goes, "Dong!" Yeah, they brought it back for Scream 5. It was great.
Right hand. I'll listen to the song by itself. It's just a good song.
No, I know. I listen to it.
It's
It's
a
on.
great song.
I have a playlist, I follow a playlist on Spotify that's just the Scream soundtrack, and it has all the movies from all the songs from Scream, because they have such good songs.
Mm-hmm.
I see you as a young Meg Ryan myself.
It's just a good like meandering background music. Like
Yeah, it's
people
really
just
good.
hanging out.
And it was good for a murder in the because
It's just a good song.
Dynamic, is that the word? I don't know.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
fits.
Yeah,
you know,
it
a lot of
does.
different
It does a
situations.
lot of stuff. Yeah. Now, I will say, and I may be biased, but I feel like it fits an older time period better. Like, whereas in Peaky Blinders, you know, you're looking at like the 20s, 30s.
Right.
Whereas this is like 90s, and like, you know, there's different shit going on in the 90s, but it's still, as far as like character movement goes, it's a really nice, like, meandering kind of like just background
Right.
bopping
Yeah.
around,
I would
characters
say-
just hanging
I would
out.
say that makes a little bit of sense, but I agree that you would be biased because you saw
I am
Peaky
biased.
Blinders
I am
first.
biased, yeah. Oh, this is the scene that Scary Movie makes fun of. Specifically.
Yes, it is. Oh. See, Scary Movie, yeah, definitely makes fun of this because they use a bigger girl.
And like they let her get complete, like they like cut her legs off.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Oh,
she's like,
still going,
"Oh,
please.
wow.
I can't believe you got me.
I guess I'll just do that." And she like kills herself.
Oh, yeah, they make fun of it two different ways, I guess. Because somebody dies in the garage door in Scary Movie and it falls. But then also there's that girl Buffy, who is also a character making fun of Sarah Michelle Gellar from I Know What You Did Last Summer. But then she's the one saying, "Oh, are we going to play Psycho Killer?" And then she ends up being beheaded.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Now I guess I'm just going to scream. Is this the big finish, whatever?" And she goes, "Ah!" But she's like a beheaded person at that point. Notice that he's wearing well, you can't really see it with his jacket on, but he's wearing our Scary Movie flannel. He's got it on. It makes a return. This is like the fourth movie, I think, that we've seen it in.
Scary Movie flannel. That's the thing.
They usually have to kill one person at a time. Now there's too many people involved.
It's just
And
too-
monologues that they have to make.
Right. It's just too hard. It's too much to put together.
When they're wearing the mask, it's so much easier.
Yeah. Oh, not in my movie.
She's a badass now.
Yeah, Dad's still here.
Dad, I forgot about you.
I had a dad. Damn. Who's the camera guy now? Because it's not the other dude.
She got a new one, I guess. We don't really learn. She has a different camera guy in Scream 2. We don't know who that is. Top story just
Damn,
sent
and
some more
all
out.
she did was call him fat and shit, and then he died, and then she's like, all right, well, anyways.
Yeah, she does not care about him at all. She cares about no one right now.
Fuck, Gail.
Later in Scream 2, she learns to care about, like, Dewey. They get closer. But
I mean, even
right
then,
now, she only cares about herself.
it didn't really seem like she did all that much. I don't know that she has redeeming qualities other than being the last girl.
Oh, what about Scream 5? You didn't like her in Scream 5? You didn't really get to see that much of her.
Yeah, no, I mean, she's still... Yeah, we learned that she just divorced Dewey and then went on to do other shit and then came back just for a story like always.
Okay, yeah.
I
Well,
think-
she came back because she was worried about Dewey in Scream 5. And she had producers there because they wanted her to cover
because
it for
they wanted
obvious
her to cover...
reasons.
Exactly.
But that's not... She came back... That's just an excuse. She came back because she was worried about Dewey. She just didn't want to
That's what
You know.
she told Dewey.
admit that. Well, I don't know. I feel
Gail
like she was
is
worried
the
about
worst.
Dewey. No, Gail's not the worst.
Gail is the worst.
No, she's she's good. Scream 2, we got... I don't know. You need to watch all the movies. She's got some more
I'm
character
pretty positive
development.
that Gail is the worst. From the two movies I've seen Gail in, she's the worst.
She didn't get to see her much in Scream 5, and she did come back because she was worried about Dewey.
She came back because the producers wanted her to cover it.
No, that just was
For obvious reasons. Her reasons
Dewey
what
thinks that.
she told Dewey.
her reasons. What she told Dewey, or what she told Dewey.
But, like, that doesn't mean those are true reasons.
They're
like, because
true though.
Gail has, from the first movie, from what I've seen so far, has very snake tendencies, and she's very, like, willing to just do anything for the story. I mean, she said, fuck the camera guy. Like, I'm going to cover this story. And, like, that's not real life redeeming whatsoever at all.
You're right, absolutely. In this movie, she's out for herself, total bitch, no redeeming qualities. Mm-hmm. But she grows in the next few movies.
To do
And
what?
To care about more than just herself, and more about catching the killer and less about the story.
But, like, catching a killer does nothing but do things for her. Gail is
No,
the
catching
worst.
the killer stops a murderer.
Sure.
and saves herself, but
That saves herself.
like she doesn't have to be involved in the situation if she doesn't want to. She could leave, but like she stays and catches the killer. She's like, I don't care.
Right, but doesn't-
I just want to find this fucker. That's a line from Scream 2. I think.
By the 5th movie, isn't she just like uber famous from catching killers and shit like that? Like
By the 5th movie, she's uber famous by being a reporter in general, because by the 4th movie, she's actually a kind of a failed reporter because she is trying to write at the beginning of the 4th movie, she's trying to be a writer, but she has nothing to write about, so she's writing fiction. But she's not good at writing fiction. And so, yeah, the 4th movie is about her not being able to write, and so she's excited when a killing starts, because then she has,
Gail is the
she
worst.
has something to write about, because she's like, oh, I'm gonna write, and she starts, making notes and trying to catch the killer to write a book about it.
Yeah, Gail's the worst.
And like her and Dewey are like having like marital like arguments in Scream 4, but they're still married. But then by the end, they're like, me and you, no more on your own. We'll be together.
It doesn't work
Of course,
out though.
in Scream 5, they're not together anymore. But that's been 10 years.
She's
since
the
it. So it's probably worked out
worst.
for a while.
Gail has been selfish from day one to the last movie so far. Yo, dude, Gail sucks.
You have good arguments, but
why
you
is
haven't
she
seen
one
other
of the main
movies.
girls? She's garbage.
No, she's not garbage. Come on.
She did nothing but insult her cameraman off rip. You fat lard, move your ass. He dies. All right, come on, let's get the story. Come on.
She's hilarious. What?
It's not
I know I'm
wacky.
50 pounds overweight, but when I say hurry, please interpret that as move your fat tub of lard ass. Now, it's so funny, Kordell.
It doesn't make it okay.
It doesn't? Oh.
No.
I thought if it's ha ha hee hee, you can hee hee ha ha your way into anything.
You can.
You said that.
Apparently, Gail hee hee ha ha her way into your heart, but not mine.
She sure did. Also, so like, I love Courtney Cox. And she herself, I don't know how much you want to take like her word on Gail's motives, but she knows the character pretty well, And she said in interviews that the reason she came back to Woodsboro in Scream 5 was because of Dewey, and that the producers were an excuse for Gail to tell herself that she wasn't going back just for Dewey. But then she was like, "Yeah, I'm here for Dewey because she cares about him." And then he dies, and then she feels very sad.
She doesn't. It
She
seems
feels so
like
sad.
it looked like
She
in the
cries,
end of that movie.
she sits in the hospital
she
alone
really
for hours for
did-
no reason, just because Dewey's dead.
That's the one time of remorse that she's ever had.
Well, that's the only time Dewey's ever died.
Isn't her old? Well, like, right, yeah, but like she's literally been through every other fucking movie, and she didn't give a shit about anybody else before.
Well, she gives a shit about Dewey. Dewey almost dies in Scream 2, and she goes, "Wah." I don't know. She's upset. I'm not an actor, but and then she actually he survives, of course, and he gets pulled out on a stretcher. And at that time, it kind of like mirrors the first movie where he gets pulled out on a stretcher and she's being a reporter. In the second one, he gets pulled out on a stretcher and she says, "I'm coming with you," and gets in the ambulance with him, and they drive away together. So that's And then in the third one, they get engaged at the end. And she's...
Listen, let me tell you this.
And she really drives the third movie because Sidney's not in it very much.
Liking one person doesn't make you a good person. She's still a trash person to literally every... Okay, yeah, she likes one guy. Wow.
Okay, she's not a nice person.
She's the worst. She might as well be one of the fucking killers. The regard
She might as well be a killer.
like the regard
never
that Gail
killed
has,
anyone.
she stands by a lot, I'm sure. The regard that Gail has for the rest of humanity is little to none.
Oh, man.
It's marginal at best. Gail sucks.
Wow, yeah.
I knew I'd have opinions about this fucking movie. Gail sucks.
Okay, so you think Gail sucks. What do you think about Dewey?
I think he's a hopeless buffoon, but that's just kind of how he stays.
Yeah.
Just a hopeless buffoon.
Yeah, he means well, though.
He means well, though, sure.
How do you think about David Arquette?
Here's the thing, though. Like, Dewey should get... Based off of, like, the fifth movie, right? Like I said, I only seen the first, and I've seen the last. Dewey probably should have gotten fired a while back. Like,
for
he
sure.
he does get fired, like, from the Force, where he retires or whatever fucking the
They
fifth
made
movie.
him retire.
They made
so
him...
He got fired,
Yeah, which
from the Force.
because like he's pretty fucking incompetent when it comes to being
a police officer.
Dewey's not good at his job.
No, I agree about that.
At all.
I just like Dewey. I like all of them.
Of course, like
But-
they're fun, tropey little characters, but like Like, Dewey's not good. I like him. He's fine. He's a good person. Dewey cares about people.
Yeah, Dewey cares about
Dewey cares about
That's
people.
what he did. That's
Dewey's
what,
a
that's
good
what Gail
person.
says in the 5th movie. Sam was like, he helped me. And Gail was like, that's what he did. He helps people.
Yeah, he's a good
that's
person.
Dewey's thing.
Not her,
That's why
though.
he's in all those movies. Not her. No.
Not her.
No, and she realized that at the end. She was like, Dewey was a good person.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she does. Okay, so Gail, I don't know that it doesn't make it better or whatever, but Gail is aware that she is a bad person and Dewey is a good person, you know? So, like, at one point, she feels, like, bad about it and, like, tries to change. In the 3rd movie, I think it was, she's like, somebody mentions Dewey, and she goes, Dewey is, no, maybe it was the 2nd one. Fuck. Anyway, she goes, Dewey is a good guy, unlike some of us. And then, the killer she's talking to, it's Scream 2, because the killer she's talking to is another reporter, and the other reporter is played by Laurie Metcalf. And she's like, she's just like, oh, okay, well, I mean, whatever. And Laurie Metcalf's actually the killer in Scream 2, fun enough. And that's Billy Loomis's mother, Mrs. Loomis. My point was that Gail tries to change.
Self-aware asshole? Like,
She's a self-aware asshole who strives to be
I'm
better.
sure the devil knows he's bad too. Like, what do you like?
I don't know. A lot of villains think they're good.
But
Thanos, for instance.
That's the thing, though, right? Okay, sure. Thanos thought he had it right. He thought he was doing what was best for everyone, and he thought it took the strongest will. Gail knows she's shit and continues to be that way.
But she tries not to. It's just in her nature.
She attempts a little, kinda, by liking one guy.
Oh.
If Dewey's the one...
Tries to solve a murder.
Here's the thing. For her own benefit.
No. Not at the end. Eventually, it's just to catch the killer for the good of
So
a
she
murderer
doesn't
being
die.
dead. Not just so she doesn't die. Like I said, she could leave the movie at any moment.
But she wanted
Her
to
cameraman
stay.
in Scream 2 does. He says, I'm leaving. And he gets in the cab and he leaves the movie. That's a fun thing that happens in Scream 2 that I like.
Yeah,
Her cameraman's great in Scream 2.
Gail's the worst.
All right. Well, that's a hot take that I had not heard before. That Gail is the worst. I mean, obviously she's...
Awful.
I think people love her because of her... Fans love to watch her. Like, not that they think she's a good person, but that she's an interesting, fun character, I guess.
You say the same things about the Kardashians. I mean...
The Kardashians. No, they're not interesting or fun.
People love them because they think they're interesting and fun, but they're
I don't
not.
know. Yeah.
They're just not good people. I don't know them personally, of course. But
I don't know the Kardashians. I just
know
find
what I'm
them
saying?
boring, and I don't understand why they're famous.
I mean, everyone loves a villain.
Are the Kardashians villains?
Gail is.
But Gail has never been the villain. She's just kind of, she's, to Sidney, she kind of pisses her off sometimes. She gets punched every now and
Good. Good.
then.
Gail sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Sidney's side too when she punches Gail, but like, I still love to watch Gail and hope that she lives and does well in her life and career.
People turn their head when they see car crashes also. Like, it's not just because you like to
Gail
watch
is
it.
not a car crash.
She is a terrible person.
Oh, gosh.
Like, it looked like she didn't even put, like, it's like she tried to put on like a little bit of makeup. Like that scene was fresh. So she grabbed a new cameraman within the fucking hour to go cover that show.
Yeah, well, she had
not
to,
even
the murders,
giving a fuck.
She had news doesn't stop.
If you
Kordell, it's her
almost
job.
get killed, she's the worst. If you're closest
Well,
associate,
you're the closest to the story. You have the story. You're supposed to let someone else get the scoop, even though it's your story.
yeah. If
You're just not a reporter. That's
if
just
your
not how it works.
I graduated in journalism. If your cameraman dies, you don't have to cover that story.
Yeah, you don't have to, but if you want to win the Pulitzer, maybe you should.
Does she ever, though?
Well, we don't know. She doesn't mention it in the 5th movie.
She's failed in the. You said the 4th?
In the 4th one, she is not a reporter anymore. Mm-hmm. She's a writer who's trying to write fiction.
Right. And you know who wins Pulitzers? Writers. Mm-hmm. Good ones.
Yeah.
Gail is not. Gail
wrote a book series that became a very popular movie franchise. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she has a lot of money and royalties.
That gets more people killed?
It's not the movie's fault or the book's fault that people get killed. You can't say that.
She definitely fuels the fire for the rest of the movie.
Oh my gosh, is that...
Gail
Oh, is
is
that
the-
your stance, though? That media causes murderers?
They literally quote that shit verbatim, yes. In this franchise, absolutely. That's what this universe is. It's building off the metas of other movies. And if Gale started a whole book franchise that led more murders, knowing good and well that these motherfuckers are mimicking murderers...
Okay.
Gale is directly... she's indirectly influencing the rest of the... world. She's making more Scream people. She's making more Ghostface.
Well, here's the thing. The Ghostfaces in the other movies, second, third, and fourth, their motives have to do with killing Sidney. They are related to Sidney, or they, know Sidney. They want revenge on Sidney.
Right.
Has nothing to do with stab movies.
Sure.
But the fifth movie, the fifth movie alone, they are fans of the stab franchise,
right,
and are trying to recreate that.
Yes.
But they're fucking psychos, and I don't think that you can blame a movie for that. There's a line in this movie where Billy Loomis says, no, Sid, don't you blame the movies. Movies don't create psychos. Movies make psychos more creative. Love that line. And I agree with it. You can't blame the movies.
Also, the other killer says, peer pressure. I'm sensitive.
Peer pressure has nothing to do with movies. It had to do with Billy pressuring him to murder people with him.
Right, but that's what happens in the fifth movie is they just love that kind of shit. They're pressured by that same instance of you get away with murder and shit like that. That's what causes the fifth movie.
They see a violent movie and they want to recreate it. They see a violent video game, they want to recreate it. But I don't think that's the creator's fault. I think something's wrong with their brains.
In reality, yes, that is right. That does not cause that. However, in this universe, it definitely fucking does. It's not.
It is.
There's
nothing supernatural.
Not the way Ghostface moves.
Ghostface is just clumsy. That's realistic.
It's not.
If I was gonna go murder some people, I'd probably be pretty fucking clumsy at it.
Sure.
It's just that your average Joe killer. He's not a superhuman like you would see in the other.
No, and he doesn't have to be. But I'm saying their mental status is very they stick to the movies. At least again, last movies I've seen, they're riffing off of Gale shit. At least the fifth one is. I think that Gale caused the fifth movie.
Okay, so the fifth movie killers would not have been killers had there never been a stab movie.
And there never would be a stab movie had Gale not written the book,
The Woodsboro Murders, that was inspired. That
the
stab movie was based on.
Yes, that's
true. But I still don't think it's Gale's fault because I don't think it's a writer's fault or a movie person's fault that someone does something.
And then 1 through 4 is just Gale being a bad person. I'm sure, or at least 1 through 4. You have not mentioned the redeeming. She doesn't give a fuck about nobody but her, and then sometimes Dewey.
And sometimes Dewey.
And
she's self-aware about it.
And she knows that she's awful. Who else is bad though? Because Cindy is just unfortunate. She's just wrong place, wrong time at all times.
Sidney is people just want to kill her so much.
Yeah.
Except for in the fifth one. The fifth one, she was just doing it out of the goodness of her heart. Well, she said it was because she had children and wanted to make sure that they were safe.
Right.
But she didn't have to come back to Woodsboro.
No.
Nobody was even after her in the fifth movie, but she put herself in that situation.
Yes.
So she's a good person.
She's a masochist.
What?
She obviously enjoys the pain.
No, she doesn't. Oh my god.
She would leave earlier had she because it's just none of these people's behaviors match with traumatic incidents whatsoever. They're yeah, I want more of that.
No, she said in the first of the 5 movies, she said, "There's no way I'm ever coming back to that town," and she wasn't going to. But then Dewey got murdered, and she realized she had to come back to make sure that she and her family specifically, were safe because they were killing Dewey.
Her family?
She has 3 children at least because she was holding a baby stroller at the beginning of the movie, and then she said the kids are in school or something like that. I don't remember what she said. So 2 or 3 kids and a husband.
Not in
named Mark.
Woodsboro, though.
No, they're somewhere else. What?
And she just assumes that the killer's going to come find her? Or
yeah, because all the other movies besides 1 and 5 and 4, so 2 and 3, are not set in Woodsboro.
Okay.
They follow Sidney wherever she is. Second one is set, I forget, Ohio? No, I don't know if that's right. It's a college. She goes to college and is at Windsor College in a different state. And then 3 is set in Los Angeles.
So how does the killer know where she is?
Well, that was a big plot of the third movie. Was the whole first half of the first movie. Third movie, she had gone into hiding because she had been tried to be murdered twice.
Right.
So she went into hiding, and the first half of Scream 3 is about the killer trying to find Sidney. So he's calling everyone that knows her. He calls Cotton Weary. You don't know much about Cotton Weary yet because you haven't seen the rest of the movies. But he was the man who was accused of murdering her mother the first time. Sidney thought that he had done it, and
but Billy said he did it.
right. But Sidney, her mother was murdered a year before this movie,
Right.
And Cotton was in jail for her murder because Billy had framed Cotton.
And so he got out and was like, "I'm gonna."
Yeah, Gail says earlier in this movie, she says Cotton's in jail. They're going to gas him.
Yeah.
So like, and they showed like a snippet of him on the news. But anyway, in Scream 2, he gets out of jail and like he knows Sidney now. So by Scream 3, the killer's calling Cotton and is trying to find Sidney. He's killing his way to try to find Sidney. He's calling like I don't know. He tries to get a hold of Dewey.
I don't understand why you would kill Sidney. She didn't do it. You would go through like, you'd want to kill prosecutors and like.
Why? Who would want to kill?
Like
Cotton?
Yeah.
Oh, Cotton is not a killer. No,
Right.
That's not what I meant. Cotton was just framed, and then he just knows Sidney, and the killer calls Cotton to try to find Sidney because he knows that he knows her. He doesn't know where she is, though, unfortunately, and he gets murdered.
So then how does the killer know where Sidney's at? Did it just call around?
Sidney eventually comes out of hiding because people are dying because someone's trying to find her. So she's like, okay, here I am. And the police want to talk to her because the police are like, this killer's trying to find Sidney. All these, they're leaving photos of her mom at the crime scene. So obviously it's very tied to Sidney. Maybe Sidney's a suspect, you know?
Right.
So we need to find Sidney. So the police want to talk to her. So she ends up coming out of hiding to talk to the detectives and put a stop to it. So that's why she comes to Los Angeles.
Turn the TV off so we can make sure we see the. Okay.
So Sidney cares about people and is not.
She does. She's not.
masochist.
She's well. On that fifth movie,
No, she's
yes,
trying to make
but-
sure that the killer dies. She won't sleep until he's in the ground because she has kids, is what she says.
Yeah, I remember that. It's just it's not the best
don't believe
idea.
her.
It's just not a good idea. It's just not. Because I mean, how? Okay, let me ask you this. What is Sidney's body count? Like, how many people has she killed?
How many people has Sidney killed? I don't have it off the top of my head. Let's go through. She kills Billy and Stu.
Right.
She kills, in Scream 2, she kills Mickey and Mrs. Loomis. She has help killing Mickey. Gail helps her kill Mickey, but count that for her as well. So that's 4. Then the third one,
She got the assist. Yeah.
she had the assist. The third one, she kills her brother. I'm just giving you all the spoilers. Her brother, because you've already read them anyway, is the killer in Scream 3. So she kills him. And then in Scream 4, she kills Jill. I think. Yeah. But there are 2 killers in Scream 4, but she actually Jill kills one of the killers. The killer kills one of the killers.
Right.
Betrays them, and then Sidney just kills Jill. So that's 6. And then in 5, did she kill? She didn't kill.
She did. She killed one of them.
No, Gail killed.
Oh yeah.
The girl.
Right.
And then Sam killed the boy. So
right.
Sidney actually didn't kill anyone in that movie.
Wow, that was the one movie.
Sidney didn't kill anyone. So she's killed 6 people.
She's killed 6 people.
Because they were all trying to kill her. And they were all. What is your point?
She's a murderer too. Like,
No, it's all self-defense.
While they're on the ground, she shot that man in the head on the ground.
Yes, he went,
That's not self-defense.
He said, he was coming at her.
Completely
He was coming
incapacitated.
At her. He was coming at her.
There were 3 people there.
Okay, but he had tried really hard to kill her before. I don't think she's a murderer.
So, okay, but then she came back in the 5th movie
And didn't kill anyone, so you can't say anything bad about her.
with the intent on putting someone else
the ground.
in the ground.
Because they were killers, and she has to protect her family. Are you really on the side of against Sidney?
Here's what
Are
I'm
you
saying.
a Ghostface killer?
Here's what I'm saying.
Are you on the side of the murderers right now?
I'm saying that her politics line up very heavily with the fucking Punisher, and she's
What's
like,
wrong with the Punisher? I don't
tries
really
to
know.
murder, kill. Like, so the Punisher, his whole thing is like, if you are a bad guy, you die,
Sounds good to me.
and that's Sidney. That's what she does.
Yeah, she puts people in the ground who need to die.
She
Ghostface killers, to be specific.
she's-
Only Ghostface killers, though.
Her and fucking
put a
Clint
Ghostface mask
Eastwood.
on?
Yeah.
That's her.
I don't know
niche. You don't think it's any of her business?
all I'm saying is that, like, at least for the 5th movie, She came to murder.
Yes.
Wasn't nobody fucking with her.
Sam said, you want me to help you and the host of a morning show commit murder? And they said, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, murdering bad
red
guys.
flags?
Murdering
No red
murderers.
flags?
It's
Nothing?
like a Dexter type thing, you know?
Dexter's bad.
Bad?
That's bad.
That's
also bad.
I don't know. That's opinion. You know, that's like subjective whether murdering murderers is bad. Because
There's
I'm
arguments
a
for
proponent
it.
of the death penalty.
Of course.
You know, some people aren't.
There are arguments for it.
So,
of course.
yeah.
But there comes a certain point when you hit, person number 3, 4, 5, 6, that it's like, okay, maybe you like killing people too.
No,
she's like, it's like a fucking blood sport to her. She's out
She
here.
just has to stop them, or else they'll keep killing.
I think by the fourth kill, she likes it.
She doesn't seek it out. People start trying to murder her, and she just does what's got to be done. You're really coming at not only Gail, but also Sidney.
Okay, Gail's inexcusable. I could be reaching for her. Sure, I could be reaching for Sidney. But like, it's like to show up, like, not my family. She's grizzled. Like, if it was a guy, right? Let's switch the gender, right?
Okay.
If it was a dude that had fought his way through all these people, I mean, he's like any action movie hero then, right? Like, that's a John fucking Wick. If she's the female John Wick, John Wick has no issue killing, and no one calls him a good guy, like, inherently. Like, in like the first movie, what they get at, like, they kill his dog or whatever, and
well, see, the thing is about John Wick, I've watched like the first movie. I don't really watch all of them.
Yeah.
But John Wick seeks out revenge
Right.
to like. Well, okay, Sidney did that in the fifth movie.
that's what I'm saying. By the fifth movie, she like.
Okay, but most of the movies, people are trying to kill her,
her
and she
character
is not
arc-
seeking out killing people.
Her character arc goes from self-defense. What are you doing here? Why are we here?
What are
right
you
now?
doing here?
You came to murder, right? Like, she's on her way. That's why Batman. That's
what
why
if
Batman.
Sidney's the killer in the next movie?
That's what I'm saying. The reason Batman doesn't kill is because it is a thin line. He says that once you kill a murderer, it doesn't remove murderers from the world, right? Like, once you kill a killer, like,
removes that murderer.
The amount of killers stays the same, right? You just have killed another killer.
Not unless you murder more than one murderers to fix the ratio, because you're already a murderer.
Unless that murderer murders multiple people. So Batman says, if you kill a killer, the amount of killers stay the same, right? If you kill that killer that's killed multiple people and you just kill multiple killers, it's the same thing. Same ratio.
If I were to murder multiple murderers, I am reducing the amount of murderers in the world, because I am only one murderer, but I've killed 2 murderers, so there is one less murderer in the world. That's just math. And I'm not very good at math, but I know that. I know like 2 is more than 1.
And Batman's thing also is that
Batman doesn't know what he's talking about.
he knows there's a fine line. Once he starts, like, you cannot stop killing. That's his thing. That's why he doesn't think bad guys should be killed, is because once you start killing, like, it's very easy to continue to do so. And Sidney keeps doing it. Sidney comes back.
She kills people like once every 10 years whenever a Ghostface murderer starts killing people again.
She comes back to murder. But, like, killing people again, like, she
only kills murderers.
She could really just leave that to the cops, but she doesn't.
The cops don't know what they're doing. The cops are fucking Judy Hicks in the 5th one. You know what happened to her? She's the sheriff of that town.
I know.
She did not make it. The cops
didn't.
cannot be left to their own devices with these situations.
So vigilantism, I see.
Absolutely vigilantism. You know? Why not? This is what gets Ghostface dead. I'm not saying if in real life that it would make the most sense, but in a Ghostface movie, these cops are not getting the job done.
In a Ghostface movie, like, the motives for killing doesn't matter even. Like, you can just, and Sidney's motive also, I guess, doesn't necessarily matter. I think she likes killing also. I think she also likes killing, and then she just sticks with it. And she's damn near happy when a Ghostface pops up. She's like, you know what?
She's not
another
happy.
Ghostface
She
to
is
kill.
like, oh my god, this again? I'm tired of this shit. I'm gonna put a fucking into it so it fucking stops. She's not happy about it.
Murder!
Yeah, murder by necessity.
I guess.
How did we end up in a debate? Murder good or bad? I don't fucking know. And
No,
we're not on the side of
it's
murder being good.
That's what I'm wondering, Justin.
But Kordell, We're talking about murdering murderers here who are trying to kill people that you love.
That's what
like
murderers do.
Dewey and Gail. She cares about these people, and she cares about her kids.
I don't know why she
She's
cares
just
about
worried that
Gail.
they're going to come after her next.
I don't know why she cares about Gail.
I don't know. She's just a nice person. She cares about people.
Gail doesn't care about her.
You're probably right about that.
That's all. But my takeaway was that, Gail's the worst.
Gail, okay.
And that Sidney
Gail,
is a pseudo murderer.
I will agree that Gail is a bad person, and that Sidney is technically a murderer. That's as far as I'll go.
That's
Sydney is obviously
all
a
I'm
murderer. She's
asking.
killed people, but she's not
her body count. Okay, her body
in
count
jail because most of them could be argued as self-defense.
overall. I feel like we need. Here's what I want. I want us to look up or to at least get somebody. I got a buddy who actually likes this podcast. George, talk to you, bud.
Hi, George.
George, I want George to go through and see if Cindy's killings are lawful, right? In like all capacities.
Is he a lawyer?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't say that.
Yeah, he's like, or even funnier, we could get Hallie.
Hallie to do it. Yeah, we've had Hallie on the podcast before.
Yo, Hallie. Is she lawful? Is she really?
I wonder if she's seen
Would she
all of the
be a-
Scream movies.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
But I'm sure you could talk her through the case plenty.
Yeah, we could at least send her the scenes of her killing every person that she kills.
Because at least like from a self-defense perspective, right? Like that, her killing Billy.
Oh, but let's
Nah.
see also, maybe we should have, what kind of lawyer is George?
He's a criminal defense lawyer.
Okay, so he's a defense attorney. We could have him defend Sidney, Hallie try to prosecute Sidney for the murders, and see who wins.
George is so convincing, though.
See, exactly. That's what I was saying. If you had not said that, I was like, Hallie, we could say, if you were going to defend Sidney, could you get her off?
Yeah.
Like, maybe it's not technically lawful, but like, who saw what happened, really? Who's to say? The evidence shows that she was self-defense. That's like, it was...
Right. Like, but that's the thing, though. Like, defending yourself only goes so far, and of course, it depends on the state. I guess after like a little while.
Yeah, probably should. Most of these happen in California.
Yeah. So
We have to look into California law.
it depends, and they
At
may
the
have
time.
like if they have like a standard ground thing, then yeah, she's probably good, scot free for all 6 murders that she does.
Some of them are some of them are definitely not murders. Some of them, like Stu's, that was self-defense, right? She hit him with a vase. He was attacking her, and then she got up and threw a TV on her. If she had not done that, he would have continued to attack her.
Sure. That one's I'll give her that one.
She's got some then.
She's got one.
Well, we haven't gone through all of them.
Now Billy, he was completely incompetent. He's been stabbed. He's like on the ground. He just and she shot him in the head. Back to the floor, execution style.
Okay, before that though, he was probably gonna die anyway.
He was probably, but I'm saying like that excess, like you can't.
That excess.
Yeah, you can't go
Okay,
above
so
the
that one-
necessary
in Scream
means.
2, I think both of them were self-defense. However, in Scream 2, Mickey gets up and is running at them, kind of like Amber at the end of Scream 5. He's running at her, and so they go pow, 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 pow. Her and Gail both do, and like put him down.
Right.
That's self-defense. He was still coming at her with a knife, you know?
Okay.
In Mrs. Loomis, she shoots, she goes down, and then that's like, so that was self-defense because she was coming at her. But then after they end up putting Mickey down, she shoots her in the head again. So
Another execution?
another execution, but Mrs. Loomis didn't even move. She didn't go, she was just there, and Sidney said, pow, and she goes, just in case.
She executes 2 people
But
so far.
no, because when she shot her in the head, Mrs. Loomis was already dead because she killed her the first time in self-defense. She was just making sure the second time she killed her. Second time
That's
she shot her in
still
the head.
excessive, though. Like I think
It's like mutilation of a corpse or something at that point because you're shooting a dead body at that point just to make sure. It's definitely excess. So I'm just wondering the legality of that. Like I'm curious now. You're shooting a dead body. You're not sure that it's dead, but it is a dead body.
I would love to know.
I would as well. We need to get a lawyer on here ASAP.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Because I think
We'll have
Sidney-
Hallie on here. We're watching
I
a
think
different movie
Sidney's
or whatever.
going to jail.
I don't know. Yeah, the
think
trial of
Sidney's-
Sidney Prescott. That's what we'll do. We'll do a whole nother episode that is the trial of Sidney Prescott. We'll show clips from the Scream movies.
She is going to jail.
We'll have Hallie. Maybe we can have like even if we can't come on, we can have Hallie and George call in.
Sure.
You know, we can have
Sure.
Have the trial of Sidney Prescott. That'll be great. That's a great idea. I like that idea.
I think she's going to fucking jail.
And if I'm on the jury, I'm telling you, I'm saying innocent, and then it'll be
I'm
a
not!
hung jury, and we'll have to do a complete mistrial. No. Maybe we should get 12 non-biased people to be our jury.
We should not tell
Or do
them
a vote.
what we're doing, and they should just only get the evidence.
Sure, maybe we could change the names so that people stay anonymous.
Yeah.
Find 12 people who have not seen
Right.
Scream.
Well, like even that, like at least people who aren't as big of fans, to where like if you present this evidence,
They
like
wouldn't
this
necessarily
person
notice.
did this person did that. Yeah.
Exactly what happened.
Exactly. What, you give it just vague enough to where they wouldn't know, and you could really legit see if
whether she would be prosecuted
or
not.
if the jury thinks that she should go to jail or not for like excess.
Right. Well, we'll just have to see what the actual laws are for the state that they're in, because they're in different states
At the
each
time.
movie, and the year that it was made. So that's a lot of research. So this will be fun. You're a producer. You love research.
Damn, I keep coming up with these fucking ideas. I don't mean to.
You know what I mean? Yeah, you had the idea for this podcast. Damn it. Yeah, so you're just making a lot more work for yourself. So when you have some downtime throughout the week, make sure you're looking up laws from California in 1996. The self-defense laws. And if you're allowed to shoot someone for going, huh, after they've tried to kill you.
After they've been broken and beaten on the floor, like how he is.
Yeah.
Oh, she shot him. Did she shoot him once?
Gail shot him the first time. Gail killed him. He was probably going to die. And then Sidney shot him when he jumped up.
Yeah, if he even that, like he's done. Like you don't have to shoot him anymore. Too much. It's too much.
That's a thing about not only Sidney Prescott, but we're talking about Scream right now, but like it seems like all final girls do that. Everyone, all the fans want them to. They want them to make sure he's dead, like kill him.
Right.
But like, is that legal? And what would you actually, if you did that in real life, would
no.
you go to jail for that kind of thing?
It's an idea. It definitely is one. I don't mean to.
Oh, find real life cases of
Yeah.
people who have killed in self-defense.
Yes.
And see what happened to them.
So, fun fact. You know that you don't.
Because there's precedent, probably.
People used to joke about back in the day, right? You have to register your hands in self-defense if you're like real good at karate or whatever. It's not true. You don't have to do that. It's not real. Except in the U.S. Territory of Guam, they do have a registration for you to like register your hands and feet. While that's like very loose, like if you like their terms for it is like if you practice self-defense, like for like they don't even give like a year. If they say if you're like an expert in self-defense, like or if you've practiced if you've received an advancement in a self-defense class or martial art, like then you have to register your hands and feet as weapons. However, there are like legit legal cases where if a person, if they go through your background, they find that you are like sufficient and like are like skilled in self-defense, you can be tried as like a federal offense as using like lethal weapons to hurt somebody in like a case where, you're defending yourself. There's a case in England where it happens. And there's a couple cases in the U.S. where like a boxer like beat up like a group of guys and like accidentally killed one like person, and they were tried as like using like lethal weapons since they had boxed before. Their hands were lethal. So like while you don't technically have to register your hands as lethal weapons, like if you practice martial arts and you kill somebody, that's gonna come up, and they will say that like since you knew what you were doing when it comes to like fighting, that's assault with a deadly weapon or like murder with a deadly weapon. Like they'll consider it.
Damn.
Yeah.
With a deadly weapon. You didn't even use a fucking weapon. That's crazy.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like they consider your knowledge of how to fight as like you're able to inflict the appropriate amount of harm. And if you go past the appropriate amount of harm, that's assault with a deadly weapon. Like if I fuck somebody up, like they press charges against me, I could be tried for assault with a deadly weapon since I know what I'm doing and I know like how much force it takes to do what. Yeah. And so that's like cool. With that argument being like a thing, like if someone's on the ground and they go, ugh, and you shoot them in the face, even though they're completely incapacitated, that's assault with a deadly weapon at that point. Once you're safe, you got two people behind you, you're hanging out, you're good to go, and you kill them anyways, assault with a deadly weapon. Because that was past the point of, like, that's too much. Like, they were done. Because, like, in Tennessee, like, I don't think we have stand your ground laws. I don't think Tennessee's a stand your ground state. I know Florida is, of course. But, like, some states are and some states aren't. But if you run through and, like, if you shoot somebody that's turned away from you, then assault with a deadly weapon. Even if they were in your house. Like, if their back is turned and they have bullets in their back, they were leaving. They were no longer a threat. So that counts against you. So yeah, it would be very interesting to see how our main girl does stacked against the fucking law.
Yeah. Yeah, now I'm just thinking we gotta find it'd be cool to find like a courtroom to just shoot this in. Like a courtroom set. We get someone to play Sidney Prescott.
It would be a good doc.
We get two
I think
two lawyers to play the prosecutor and the defense attorney.
I really want to pitch it to Rob.
Just what the theoretical final girl, the trial of the final girls.
Yeah.
Like, are they against the? Are they whatever?
Are they in the wrong? Like, are these girls in these movies going to jail for murder?
Like, if the police knew, which, like I said, Sidney could probably get away with all of them because nobody saw exactly how things went down. And
there's always one other person at least.
People who did see them would probably vouch for her. Because especially Gail is usually there to see it. She helps do the murders most of the time. So, like with like Mickey and stuff.
Yeah, but okay, so this last one, right? This first one. Old boy's there. What's his name?
Randy.
Randy's there.
Yeah.
He saw the whole fucking thing.
Randy's going to say whatever Sidney wants him to say. Randy is in love with Sidney.
Damn it.
Oh, man.
But Melissa's going to show that he was executed point blank range.
And Randy kind of said, well, he didn't say to kill him, but he said, careful, they always come back. And then he did. And then he shot him.
For one last scare.
Yeah.
But that trajectory and that's point blank range. She just executed him.
Uh-huh. She made sure he was dead. Like every audience member wants a final girl to do. At the end of a movie.
Make it right.
No, not technically legal. I don't know. There's a difference between right and legal. You know, like
that's fair.
That could be argued, but she is not doing the legal thing all the time. So it would be fun to see if a state would prosecute her.
I think so. Yeah, I mean,
coming soon to a podcast near you. The trial of Sidney Prescott, and it will be this podcast, and it will be a fun future episode that we do.
It'll be lit. Yeah.
Which will be nothing. We won't be watching a movie. We'll be watching clips. We'll be talking to people. We'll have a jury
cases together.
We'll have someone to be the judge. Maybe we should get a real judge. We'll have some real lawyers.
We'll have some real lawyers. I don't know any judges.
I don't know any real judges.
Not that close, but Hannah's kind of judgy sometimes.
Hannah's kind of judgy. No, she's too judgmental to be a judge.
I guess you're right. No,
she won't be impartial enough.
She won't be impartial. You're right. I think we should get someone to be a judge. I think it'll be fun. I don't know who yet, but we'll get somebody.
Yeah, somebody who hasn't seen the Scream movies.
Somebody who's like,
or at least is not a fan.
Very middle of the road, though.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, they don't get to decide whether they're guilty or not, but they do get to sentence her.
Yeah, just to play a judge.
Yeah, just to play the judge. I mean, I guess instead of we could do a trial by judge. So that we wouldn't have to have 12 different people be on the jury.
Sure.
But a jury's more fun to me because you can have a hang jury and you can have a mistrial and stuff.
I feel like
it's just more fair to me, it seems.
It's way more work, but I feel like we should still take some sort of poll and see if people think based on this evidence, is this person guilty?
Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, we could at least do that instead of having 12 different people on the podcast.
We could do 6.
I was going to say, yeah, we could do that, or we could poll in advance 12 different people, present all the evidence to them, and then have, it's not really how trials work, obviously, but then have on the podcast our two lawyers make arguments back and forth, and then say, well, this is what the jury said when presented with the evidence. We could even have them make arguments beforehand for us to present to the jury members, and then they could do the poll, and then we just say, this is what the jury said.
Yeah.
And then we announce it to our two lawyers who are on which one of them won on the podcast, and announce it to Sidney that she is either going to jail or she's not. That's hilarious. That's a great idea.
That would get you to be editor, damn it. You'd be on.
What do you mean?
If we do that much fucking work and that shit gets that shit blows up, man. You're on. Yeah. We're both on
we gotta
screen.
Find a courtroom to do this in. This is gonna be.
They're gonna let us be the consultants on the next movie.
Yeah. Wow. I hope she doesn't go to jail.
She will.
I like her. I don't know. We don't know. We don't know that.
I think you're biased. I think she will.
That is a thing. I am biased,
but it's fine because
the problem is that she would go to jail if everyone knew the whole truth, which is what we're going to give everyone because it's a movie.
Sure.
In the movie world,
Based
she probably
off the
wouldn't go to
movie-
jail, but she is doing illegal shit.
Well, I mean, we could do both. I mean, we could go canonically in universe and
Be like,
just
this is what the police saw when they
real
got
life.
there. You know?
I'd like to know both.
But then the problem is we don't really know what the characters would say when interviewed by police.
Sure.
We know what they would probably say, but we don't know.
But like, okay, but here's the thing though. After 6 people, right, and she shows up at that final crime scene, no one has questions. You know what I'm saying?
And she's
Like,
just wearing a blanket at the end. She's just
Yeah,
there to save the day.
yeah.
She was there to help Sam after Dewey was murdered. That's all.
but like, they would have to know. Like, there's no way people aren't keeping track of her ass at this point. Like, if she's causing this many murders within whatever city she's around,
Whatever city she's around, she's
There's-
not causing the murders. She's just there while they're happening.
right? But like, they're centered around her. She's got to be on some kind of list. Like, they're gonna be like, okay, so this girl moves, all these murders happen. Like, okay, imagine if like CSI Miami or NCIS or pick your favorite fictional crime group hears about her. Yo, they are tracking her ass down and watching her like a fucking hawk.
You're probably right.
And then to have her show up again, another thing, they're like, Miss, what the fuck? Like,
Miss, what the
even
fuck?
if everyone else vouches that no, she was helping, they're gonna be like, ma'am, come with us, cause what the fuck? Cause like, too many people die around you. Like, too many people are dead when you're there. Like, at the end of, like, when the cops show up, people are dead
Well, the
around
whole
you.
People having questions thing. That's a good point that makes me remember this other thing that might help Sidney in her case.
Okay.
She's married to a detective. In Scream 5, she says she's married to Mark, who is Mark Kincaid from the 3rd Scream movie, who is a detective in Scream 3. He's played by Patrick Dempsey.
It doesn't seem like he does a very good job at detecting.
Well, he's there, and he's just in the finale helping fight Ghostface, but no, he doesn't solve the murder. No cop ever does. But he tries.
I mean, I don't think that necessarily helps. That just
He
shows
even
incompetence.
suspects Sidney for a minute at the beginning.
He should.
But it wasn't her.
Everyone is dead
It
around
was
her
her
all the
brother.
time. Like, here's the thing, though. Also, like, yes, these murders happen, right? And she's like always at the scene, and she's always the last one there, and then she's somehow the only one standing. It looks fishy.
Not the only one. She's never been the only one standing.
She's-
There's always Gail and Dewey, usually. Or
Right.
At least
She's-
Gail and Sam and Chad and Mindy and all them in the 5th movie.
That's just it doesn't look good for her. That many murders, and you said even like
It doesn't look good, but she didn't.
just looking
do
at the
it.
movies, right? Like she's
innocent.
a body count of 6.
That's less than most murderers in the movies.
Is it? Is it really less? Okay, so how many people got murdered in this one? The
in
first one.
this
Just
one?
the first one.
That the killers murdered.
Yes.
Not including them.
Yeah.
5.
5 people. Okay.
In one movie. She
Right,
killed
right.
6 people over 5 movies.
Sure.
She only killed 2 people in this movie.
She's slowly racking them up.
Yeah. And she
Okay.
had help with Billy. It was also Gail. But she only killed 2. They killed 5.
Okay, I will say, after watching it, those are both hers. Those are both. Gail didn't get an assist on that one, I don't think.
But
Because Billy
Sidney
wasn't
just did
dead yet.
Well, he would have died.
Maybe would have bled out. Maybe. They called the cops a while back.
Yeah,
right?
and he'd been stabbed a couple times and shot in the chest.
Yeah. And like, maybe. Right? I mean, fucking Dewey got stabbed in the spine and was okay. So, like,
Dewey's been stabbed way too many times.
Dewey's been stabbed a bunch and is fine. Like, Billy probably would have been all right. Now, not with that bullet in the forehead, though. So, that's 2. Easy. Those are both just her.
Okay.
So in 2, she has help. And, like, Gail's also murdering people. That doesn't help Gail at all. Gail's the worst.
Gail's. I'm just saying it helps Sidney's case. It gets
does.
Gail on the chopping block herself.
Gail's the worst.
Maybe that's what Sidney will say when she's on the bench and Hallie and George, or is it George, are questioning her. She'll say, "It was Gail! Gail Weathers did it!" And Gail will be like, "The fuck?" And, it'll be a whole big thing.
Yeah.
And who knows how Dewey will be on. Dewey loves them both.
Yeah, Dewey don't mean shit. Dewey may be on the spectrum. I don't know. Like I don't.
You're thinking of Doofy from the Scary Movie franchise.
No. Dewey, because he's a dumbass.
Oh,
and
poor Dewey.
He didn't do a damn thing.
Oh, he helps.
Has he ever done anything?
He helps people.
Helps.
That's what he does.
What does he help? What has he helped?
He helped save Richie and Tara in the 5th movie. When they were being attacked. Well, okay, Richie was the murderer. Richie was the murderer, but he was trying to help save him. And he saved Tara from being murdered.
I don't think Dewey's done shit in his whole career.
He helped that, and he was the sheriff for a while. He's doing great stuff.
Why? What is this city? What is this anti-Gotham ass, like just the opposite, like where the cops are just so incompetent. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's Woodsboro.
Woodsboro needs...
They have Dewey Riley and Judy Hicks. Those are the 2 cops in the town. Well, and the sheriff in this movie. I don't remember who it is.
They're so bad.
But yeah. No, yeah, the cops are never good in any horror movies, though.
Yes.
That's
fair.
That's just the way it is.
I just don't... Yeah, Dewey's not really super... Who you asked me about somebody before I got off on this tangent.
I mean, a long time ago, I'd asked you what you thought about David Arquette.
Yes. So,
He plays Dewey.
That's
I just
okay.
wanted to talk about the actor versus the character.
Oh,
you know?
yeah, I like the actor. He's great.
Because
he's nice.
A lot of people say, okay, so it's just split on viewers of Scream whether he's a good actor or not, and I like him as Dewey. I think he's good as the character.
He acts like Dewey.
If you watch him in interviews, is a weird. I don't know. He's kind of. I don't know. He's weird as fuck. I don't know how to say it. I'm not trying to be mean to David Arquette. I like David Arquette, but he talks funny and he's like not as serious as Dewey, which is funny because Dewey's not really that serious either.
Yeah.
But so he's really acting when he's playing Dewey.
Well, I mean, you got to think like these people make their careers off of like people just paying attention to them, so they do whatever gets them attention. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it's not really out of the realm of any other. I mean, fuck, Hasselhoff has a fucking mannequin of himself that's like fucking 45 feet or whatever. Yeah. Like,
I don't know that Dewey has. I said he was weird, but I don't know that David Arquette has done is like weird, like in a like things that he does kind of way. It's just his mannerisms, you know. I mean, it's just like the way he talks. Like you said, like maybe Dewey's on the spectrum. I don't know about David Arquette, but like I wouldn't be surprised.
I think he plays a great Dewey. I think the Dewey character is like he's a cool character. Like he adds to the story. You know, I don't think
he just doesn't do anything helpful.
He just doesn't help, no.
Right? Because nobody can help except for Sidney. That's the story. She has to be the one to save the day.
Save the day
until Scream 5 when she doesn't actually help. She doesn't do anything in Scream 5.
She gets a couple shots off. I thought.
Yeah. No, she's there to help. She's there for the assist.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Like
no, that counts as the assist kill. Like,
yeah, she's being helpful.
Yeah, Gail not only enjoys murder, but she likes being famous from it too.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah. But Gail, like I said, she tries to grow. She tries to learn from every time. And in the 5th movie, she did say she's not writing a book, and these fuckers can die in anonymity. So.
Oh wow.
She said that, so she's not writing another book anymore.
What's Gail's body count then?
Gail's body count? I mean, let's see.
Or is she only assisting?
She really doesn't kill anyone on her own. She killed Mickey in Scream 2, helped kill Mickey because Sidney was also firing shots.
Sure.
Did she help kill Skeet or Billy in this movie? Because she shot him the first time he went down, but then
I
shot
don't
him
think
in the head.
I think she did not, like, because he wasn't dead yet.
Okay.
So
well then, I mean, she just shot him in the chest, but no, he wasn't dead yet. So we're just gonna go with Mickey, and then Scream 3, she didn't help kill anyone. Scream 4, nope, nobody. Scream 5,
she helped kill.
She helped kill Amber.
Yeah.
By shooting her and catching her on fire. Really, you should have killed her. I don't know why she was still alive at the end. Yeah. I think Tara killed her at the end when she came back with a knife and she was all burnt. Because Tara had
I remember her running through. Yeah. That was a little sister,
girl.
right?
Yeah. But Gail at least helped on that one. So that's 2 that she helped on, and that's it.
So she got 2 assists.
She's got 2 assists, but never the final blow.
But never, okay.
They should have given her the final blow for Amber. I mean, she killed Dewey.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like from a writer perspective, sure, but
Yeah,
she's still terrible.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come through and just destroy one of the characters you like.
No,
but,
I love
fuck her.
all of the characters, and I
Gail's the worst.
have never really put much thought or care into whether they are technically good people. I don't care. I like Gail. I don't care if she's objectively a good, nice person.
She isn't.
She's not. So I mean, like, I don't care. Sidney, I do think is generally a good.
There's
person.
an argument, sure, yes, you can make an argument that she is.
And I don't think she likes murder. I'm a little worried about Sam
Dewey's a dumbass. What do you
going
mean?
forward. And Dewey's a dumbass who does good and tries his best.
Yeah, he just tries his best.
So he's definitely a good person, unlike some of us, who, as Gail would say in Scream 3 or 2. I don't remember. It was 2. I remember now. I said that earlier. And yeah, Sam, I'm afraid she might be the killer in the next movie. She enjoyed murder way too much. If we're talking about people who enjoyed murder, because she killed Richie at the end, and her dad's a serial killer. Her dad's Billy Loomis. She stabbed a lot in Scream 5.
Yeah, and obviously, like, Billy was bad. Billy was not only bad, but, like, stupid, too.
Billy was?
Yeah.
Why was he stupid?
Well,
I mean, he didn't get away with it, so there's that.
Yeah, there's that, because, like, he really could have, and, like you were saying earlier, like, the one differentiating factor was, like, oh, let's kill them all first and then hurt ourselves. Like,
Yes.
it's just like, bro, you didn't take that last step. Like, you didn't.
See, that's why I like Jill in Scream 4, because she, I think, is the smartest Ghostface killer who has a solid plan. She just doesn't follow through. She came... You gotta watch Scream 4. She comes so close to getting away with it. Like, she leaves the final crime scene and gets in the hospital, and everybody's like, Jill, you're the survivor, you know, and all this stuff, like the news and everything like that. And the only reason she doesn't get away with it is because Sidney, who she thought she had killed, is somehow still alive in the ICU and is not woken up yet. And Dewey's like, she might not remember anything, but she's hanging in there, you know. And so then Jill has to go try to kill her in the ICU, and then obviously gets caught because she's trying to murder someone in the hospital. But other than that,
and then
before that, she was so
she
close to getting away with
dies?
it. Jill?
Yeah.
Well, Sidney kills her. I told you that. That was one of Sidney's
I know.
body
Yeah,
counts.
I'm just making sure.
Sidney killed Jill. Jill was smart. Jill almost got away with it. She didn't.
Yeah.
That's Scream 4. So we have to rate this movie, though.
You're right. We do. Yeah.
Scream 1. What do you think the real fear? What's your fear scale? Scary, not
that
scary
shit
at all. Very
was
scary.
not scary. What's scary to me is what Sidney can get away with.
That's a good one.
That's what fuels my fear. I'll give this. I'll say this. I think that genuinely the last like little bit of it was kind of intense. Just like even knowing what happens, I was like, fuck. They were dragging it out for a minute. I'm like, God bless. Are we done yet?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, it was a lot. 2.5.
Okay, that's pretty low.
Maybe 3. I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
I'll give it a 3 out of respect. It's also not my, like, it's not shit I'm afraid of.
It's not the shit. It's not the kind of shit you're afraid of.
It's not the kind of shit I'm afraid of. Like, I could have beat the dog shit out of Ghostface easy. Like, both of them. They can both come at me.
Yeah. I have seen this movie so many times.
You have.
The first time I saw it was when I was a child. So it's hard to say should I go by the first time I saw it because I was a kid. So I
You
wouldn't
didn't
find
rate
scary
it
then.
before. This is the first time I've seen it like in its entirety. And
Right.
so yeah, go by your first score. How scared of it were you when you were a kid?
I mean, still not that scared, but more than I am now. Obviously, I'm not afraid in the slightest
I'd pick that one
anymore. So I'm gonna go with. It's still gonna be pretty low. I think I'm gonna go with. I've got to give it a. I'm stuck between a 5 and a 4.5. Phew. Should I just? I really have to think about.
Why is there a half? Well, let me ask. Why is there a half though?
Well, I don't know that there is.
Well, why is it like, but 4.5 or 5? What's that half differential?
I don't know. how do you score your choices? I just think about how scary it is and try to get the closest number or half number
I
that
said
there could be.
Well, I was going for a half at first. I went 2.5,
Yeah.
but I said 3 out of respect because, like, had maybe I had seen this younger, like you had, because this is an old movie. Like, you know, you gotta kind of like play it for the times. I would have scored it slightly higher, just like, but only a half point higher because of how fucking goofy it looks when someone does anything, like the falling, the tripping, the ghost face flying around. Like, I'd have been like, what the fuck? Like, at least.
Okay, here's what I'll say then. Most of the movie is a 4 or a 4.5, but I'm going to score it a 5 for the opening scene with Drew Barrymore, which has little to no comedy. And it was really intense the first time I saw it.
No, absolutely.
You didn't realize that not only was it the surprise factor of not realizing that they're going to kill off their star, but also just the intensity of someone watching you outside your house while you're on the phone.
Right.
Then the parents finding their daughter gutted from a tree.
Sure.
It's just some intense stuff. So I'm going to say 5. And that makes the Real Fear score an average of 4. 3, 5, 4.
Sure.
Sure.
How's that? That's still pretty low on our scale, though, huh? It's tied with
It's
other.
probably, I think it's tied for the lowest
With
one.
The Exorcist?
Yeah, The Exorcist is currently the lowest one at 4. So now Scream
Tied with The
is
Exorcist.
tied with The Exorcist.
I'm fine with that.
At 4. Yeah, that sounds right. Scream and The Exorcist, I find both of them not very scary.
Yeah,
So-
and they both hit both of our
they-
sweet spots of scary.
Right,
So-
exactly. So 4, and that is falls under not scary at all.
Yeah.
So we'll have to continue our search for a scarier movie next time.
Yeah.
So follow us on Instagram, find us on Facebook, and until next time,
Be afraid.
be very afraid.
Yeah.
Real Fear is a Moonlight Media production, available on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen, as well as the Moonlight Media YouTube channel.